Hey guys, this is Hell Hades. This is a Raid Shadow Legends video. Guys, we've got a new fusion. Information just dropped. The Incarnate. Can you guess what faction this champion is from? This is going to be the fusion, which is going to go live from Thursday next week. I guess it's going to be alongside the patch at the same time. So 6th of July is going to be when the new fusion drops in. What do we think of the visual here? As ever, like cool shield, cool kind of like shoulder pauldron things. Looking pretty sweet. Very, I guess it's the same model, whatever, as like a Deliana or Shiramani, whatever. But still, looks pretty cool. So let's have a look and see what Raid have got to say before I give my opinion. And it is a high elf, legendary, defense-based force affinity. We'll have a look at that in a minute. It does say here, we're planning to launch a mixed fusion event, which generally means, I think, you get fragments for the epics, and then the epics fuse into the legendaries. And it might be that all 4 epics are the same. I'm just going by what I think this means, because I've not got any more info. But mixed fusion, in my opinion, is where you get fragments for an epic, and then the epics fuse into the legendary. So the little preamble here. In the world of Teleria, the Incarnate is a perfect soldier and an immortal being. The sole purpose of her existence is to serve as Arbiter's guardian and resolute warrior, a duty reflected in her skill set, which unlocks additional abilities when they are both on your team. So she pairs up with the Arbiter then. She will obediently join your Arbiter in the arena or in battle against the Hydra. However, even when not paired with the Arbiter, the Incarnate remains a formidable champion on her own, capable of standing her ground and being a valuable addition to your roster. Okay, let's check out her kits. Let's just first see a Force Affinity. I mean, nowadays we've got so many champs anyway, but Force Affinity, defense-based champion in High Elves. I will say, like, when I look through certain factions, you know, for example, with the faction Guardian champ, the faction Unity champs, you're like, what does their faction feel like nowadays? And I will say High Elves feels very turn meter like Philly, but not very sexy. I don't mean visuals. Like the faction kind of needs a bit of oomph. So hopefully she's going to bring some of that. Defense-based 1, 2. So there's only a couple of defense-based. None of them force. Kind of makes some sense. There's pretty even splash of affinities through this faction as well. So that all makes a bit of sense. Okay, let's have a look then. Let's have a look what's going down. So the Incarnate. A1, attack intruder. Attacks one enemy 2 times. Each hit, 30% chance to provoke. Goes up to 50 if you book it out. Has a 10% chance of counterattacking if the Arbiter is hit. Interesting. So, I mean, that's basically a Hydra ability. Provoke is either Magma Dragon or Hydra in general. So that's kind of okay. That's pretty cool. 50% chance is quite nice on a provoke, on a double hit. It's not guaranteed, though, and there's not any more provoking going on here. So, don't know. Second skill here, Formation Phalanx. AoE hits. Books up to 100% chance of removing all shields and 1 random buff from all enemies. Then places a shield. The shield value is proportional to this champion's defense. That part is nice because it's like a Vault style shield. And you can control how far that goes. It's on a 3 turn. I mean, if we're talking a Hydra champion, removing 1 buff, okay. Removing just shields, well, okay, but it's so niche that it's kind of rubbish, honestly, for a legendary. It's kind of average for a legendary. In Arena, where you can't remove bolster with this, so that's, you know, most higher end players will be using bolster sets rather than just shield sets nowadays. Not really sure about this skill, honestly. I'd much rather it was just removes 2 random buffs. Like, that would be way better, I think. But anyway, not too bad. Defensive measures on a 5-turn books to 3. Ally protection and strengthen. Great combo, especially for normal clan boss. Right, shielding on a 3-turn, ally protect and strengthen on a 3-turn. They're both normal clan boss abilities, I'd say. If you haven't got Wixwell or, you know, all these other ways of beating Clan Boss easily nowadays. Ally Protect outside of Clan Boss is kind of good, but not as crazy. Still good though. Strengthen's a great buff to have. 25% less damage is a great buff to have. Yeah, honestly, she feels a bit more like a Krisk. So we've got a passive here, Crisis Response. Increases this champion's accuracy by 20 for each ally under Ally Protect. So if you're fighting Hydra, you get another 100 odd accuracy if you can keep that buff on. Which is kind of important because the only thing you need accuracy for here is this Provoke. It's a weird champion and obviously you want a lot of defense. When killed, resets the cooldown of Destiny's Call for Arbiter. That's pretty interesting. For like an arena, live arena sort of thing, that's pretty fun. Is she good for live arena? She's placing shields. She's got a weakish Provoke considering it's arena. Ally Protect and Strengthen are decent enough for live arena, but not great. Don't know really. Shielding, removing shields, I guess. It's okay. I wouldn't have thought she's going to be some big new legendary for live arena. This is interesting. I mean, Arbiter doesn't really go that well with a defense-based champion. Like Arbiter's scaling attack. This is a defense-based. I don't know. It just feels like it's a little bit off. Ultimate purpose here on a 4-turn. So these are both on a 4-turn. So the base increases the resistance by 20 for each Ally Protect champ. So again, another 100 resistance here. This champion will also receive 20% of the damage of any ally arbiters. So just taking, on top of the damage she's taken from the Ally Protect, she's taken another 20% of the arbiter's damage. And obviously then if she dies, arbiter gets the revive back. It's quite interesting. If any ally arbiter is about to get killed by a fatal hit, places unkillable on her. If there are multiple champions on the team with a skill, it only affects once. That's quite cool. So I like the synergy, honestly, of the arbiter stuff in terms of if she dies, arbiter gets a revive. If arbiter's about to die, she gets unkillable. I just think that, and I guess she's protecting. I don't know. I definitely wouldn't throw her out there as a must get. Like, arbiter's not the be all and end all, but then everyone's going to have an arbiter at some point, and therefore a pairing with arbiter is kind of good, especially for like Hydra. A lot of people will be using arbiter in Hydra teams, at least early on. I don't think this champion really gets into much late game stuff. Don't know. I think probably a middle of the road sort of legendary at face value until we've had a chance. And it's this where people are like, this is what you said. Like, until you've had a chance to play test and really know multipliers and all that type of stuff, you don't know exactly what the champions are capable of doing, right? But on face value, on a kit, I think worst fusion of the year. But we've had some bangers. There you go, guys. Anyway, I've been Hell Hades. Let me know what you think down below, and I will see you in the next one.